Hello everyone, I'm meteorologist Charlie Neese. It is the 8th of February 2025. We have a series of storm systems that will be pushing across the country, and I'm going to start off with the temperatures here because we're seeing a big change in the temperatures, number one, and then where the temperature pattern sets up between the cold air to the north, the warm air to the south, that will become the battle zone for a series of storm systems over the next week. So let's take a look. First of all, this is the national blend of models, taking the models and kind of blending all of the solutions to see what they look like. The first thing I want you to notice is that it's very warm on Saturday the 8th across the southeast and the southern plains. And as you go into the afternoon, you can see that temperatures just continue to warm. And by the time we get into the afternoon, we've got 70s and 80s all through this region here, Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas. 70 degrees during the afternoon in Nashville, 74 degrees in Birmingham, and then 80s down in the peninsula of Florida. But look how cold it is to the north with temperatures in the teens, single digits, and a few below zero readings up along the U.S.-Canadian border and back into the Rockies. And as we go through time, we are going to see a bit of a change, and I'll show you what I mean. The temperatures are going to start cooling down, and notice how the cold air starts to rush in. This is Sunday in the early morning hours. We're starting to see the punch of cold air push into these areas that were so warm on Saturday. Sunday will be substantially cooler, and as we go into Sunday afternoon, Nashville's going to go from the mid-70s to the mid-40s during the afternoon between Saturday and Sunday. Little Rock, Arkansas, only in the low 40s during the afternoon. And places like Dallas, Texas, you'll be doing well to hit 50 degrees while the warmest of the air gets pushed farther south toward the Gulf Coast. But it doesn't make much of a push beyond that. We push all the way into Tuesday. Notice how the cold air and the warm air to the south are kind of lined up in the same area. As we work into Wednesday, the same thing. This is at noon on Wednesday. Temperatures in the 40s in Nashville, 40 in Little Rock. Very cold with below zero temperatures in the upper plains. Very warm down along the Gulf Coast. And this is the area, this is the zone where the coldest of the air meets the warm air that we are going to see that series of storm systems really begin to churn across the country in the upcoming week. This is the GFS model taking a look at what's going to be happening, the global forecast system. Many people refer to it as the American model. So this is Sunday during the early morning hours, a few showers as that front comes in, the strong front, but nothing like the severe weather we had earlier in the week. This is the overnight of the 8th into the 9th. Just some leftover showers across eastern Kentucky into northern Mississippi and Alabama as that front pushes east. Just not a whole lot of instability and juice for that system to work with. We do have snows again across the northeast, though, from Maine back into Vermont, New Hampshire, Massachusetts. This should stay a little bit north of the big cities of Philadelphia and D.C. You can see the cold air overtaking much of the rest of the country from the northern tier, northern plains, upper Midwest, Rocky Mountain states, and the northern Pacific coast. As I go into time through Sunday, this is Sunday late night into Monday morning at 6 a.m. It's fairly calm across most of the country. Again, just chillier in the southeast and in the southern plains than it was on Saturday. This is our next system. This is number one that's going to be developing next week from the Ohio River Valley back into Texas. This is on Tuesday morning, rain's breaking out, and then once you get into the Ohio Valley, we're going to see a threat of some snow. Then as we go into Wednesday, that pushes off the middle Atlantic coast. Still some rain on the southern side of where that front's kind of stalling out across the deep south. Another system, system number two, is beginning to crank up out of the eastern Rockies, and then it will be moving up the low pressure system toward the Great Lakes, and you can see heavy snows through some of these regions back into the northern middle Atlantic, into the northeast, and also into New England, with rains and thunderstorms down across parts of South Carolina, northern Georgia, and then perhaps a few storms also in Alabama. The cold air trying to at least temporarily push farther south as we get some pretty cold air across Oklahoma, Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, northwest Tennessee. Now, as we go into Thursday night and Friday, our next storm system starts to ramp up, and here we go again. This is system number 3 beginning for next weekend. Rains breaking out again, Ohio Valley back into Arkansas, snows from the Great Lakes back into the northern plains. And then as we head into Sunday, a secondary wave, a piece of energy comes on the heels of that system, and we have more rain, some locally heavy breaking out. Ohio River Valley, down into Tennessee, Mississippi, and Alabama, and then that'll also be moving up into the northeast while the cold air, again, tries to at least temporarily push down to the south. So that's what's going to be happening through the week. The cold air and the warm air really fighting. We see this track and this train of storms across the central part of the country into the middle Atlantic and northeast, and that's going to be the pattern right on in through the rest of this upcoming week into next weekend. And just to give you an idea, this is kind of a closer view of the Ohio River Valley into the Midwest. And you can see one system, here comes number 2 on Tuesday with some locally heavy rains. 3 comes through on Wednesday into Thursday, get a little bit of a break. Then another system comes in Saturday with a secondary wave kind of developing for Sunday into Monday. And that's what it looks like. Now, all of this activity is also going to lead to some snow again for the Northeast. This is the first round of snow. This is on Sunday during the early morning hours, Saturday night into early Sunday. Boston, also up into Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, parts of New York, and also we're going to be seeing a little bit of icing or sleet on the south side of that. So that's system number 1 with a chance of some accumulating snows. As we go into Tuesday night, here it goes again, Tuesday afternoon. This is at 6 o'clock in the evening on Tuesday. You can see more rainfall coming in with snowfall from West Virginia, Northern Virginia, Maryland, the southern part of New Jersey, around Philadelphia. So that's with system number 2. Then as we head into Thursday, here comes our another system with heavy snow through the Great Lakes back into New York State, and then Massachusetts once again getting accumulating snows. And we see rain and some icy mixed threat around in just north of Philadelphia with that system. That's on Thursday. Then a little bit of a break on Friday. And then yet another system comes in for Saturday with more snow for Jersey back into parts of Pennsylvania. There is the possibility of a wintry mix for Philly back into central Pennsylvania and up into the Great Lakes, and then rains to the south of that. And then on Sunday, more activity. You can see these systems are just lined up. So there will be threats for heavy snow from the mid-Atlantic up into the northeast at times. And then we also are going to be seeing threats for locally heavy rains from the Ohio Valley, snows through the Ohio Valley, and then along the Tennessee-Kentucky line and down into northern Mississippi, Alabama, all the way back into Texas, off and on rainfall. Now, here is through the week. This is for next weekend. This is Sunday the 16th. This is through the end of the day on Saturday into Sunday morning of next weekend. Look at the rains. This is just that focus, that bullseye of the precipitation from the Ohio River Valley, Tennessee River Valley into Arkansas and Louisiana. And some of these rainfall totals, again, they're not all coming at one time, but over this week, by the end of next weekend, we're talking the potential for over 6 inches of rain total for some areas. And also, you'll notice across parts of California, locally heavy areas of precipitation, very heavy snows across the Sierra Nevada, and also some locally heavy rains there for some of the big cities of California. So just keep that in mind as well. And as far as snowfall, this is going to be your big area of snow. New York State's going to get hit hard throughout the week with multiple waves of snow. Vermont, New Hampshire, parts of Maine, Massachusetts, Boston, you're going to get a lot of snow as we go through the week off and on. And then maybe a little bit along the Tennessee-Kentucky line, but the better chance of accumulating snows will be up along the Ohio River, Cincinnati, and places like that, with some periods of rain, but also periods of snow at times. And then through the Great Lakes, some heavy amounts of snow as well. And then you can see the incredible amounts of snow as we expect there in the Sierra Nevada. Now, taking a look, the 8 to 14-day temperature outlook calls for temperatures to go back below normal and kind of settle in. This is through February 15th through the 21st. That's what you would expect in this kind of pattern that we're seeing, and especially across the northern tier with all the snow. About the only areas seeing substantially above normal temperatures or average temperatures across Texas and also southern Florida. If you want to get away from all the cold weather, you got to go down to the southern tip of Florida. And then precipitation outlook, as expected, the 15th through the 21st with that train of storms, above average precipitation from Mississippi through the Tennessee River Valley, Ohio River Valley, and then on up into the Northeast, and then again through the Northern Pacific back into the Northern Rockies. So that's the way it's looking right now. Just be prepared for a lot of snow in those areas we talked about, and also some potential for some locally heavy rains, Tennessee down into parts of Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia. We'll give you another update in a couple of days on the systems as they really get cranking and the models get a better handle on where the heaviest snow and heaviest rain will be. In the meantime, don't forget we're headed into severe weather season. If you want to formulate your tornado plan for your family, check out this video.